Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being today here again in a new session of Bizagi Process Professor. My name is Kevin Guerrero. I am the Bizagi Technical Marketing Manager. If this is the first time that you are attending one of Bisagi's Process Professor, let me introduce and let me present a little bit how our program works. This is a program that we create last year. So we have already been doing this, or we have been doing this for already 1 year. And our main objective with Bisagi's Process Professor is to create a free space for our community, customers, partners, employees, anyone that is interested to learn something about the digital transformation, low-code platforms, processes, improvement, everything about and that you can find this space to understand, to learn these concepts. And also, even if you got questions from something that you are doing in one of your projects, you can also find a place and a space for you to actually ask those questions. If you had the chance to be in one of my previous sessions of Bisagi's Process Professor, maybe you have heard me a lot talking about citizen developers, right? And this is taking every single day more and more relevance within companies. And one of the main reasons is that citizen developers are the key to help organizations to move faster and in a much better way to the place where they want in terms of develop of applications. I want to highlight here with you two important facts that Gartner has identified. The first one is that by 2024, 40% of all the internet technology products will be built by those who are not full-time technical professionals. If we compare this with the same number that we had, but in 2022, this was just 20%. So it means we're going to have the double, right? We are doubling this number in just 2 years, meaning that now, even if you are not a user from IT, even if you are not the technical people, if you are not in these teams, you are going to be able to develop more applications. And it's that important that even Gartner also identified that by 2024, now 50% of all the enterprise technology purchase will be delivered to non-IT buyers. And again, if we compare this with the same numbers in 2022, it was only 50%. So again, we're putting in just 2 years, in a time frame of 2 years, we're putting this number over the triple, 3 times, right? More than 3 times the number that we're having here. So now what we're seeing is that citizen developers are not just the ones that are developing more applications with your organization, but now are so important that they are even the ones that are taking the decisions of which technologies and which platforms we will buy, right? In this graphic, Gartner's present to us these numbers in a different perspective. On the left side, what you are going to see is actually that in the 94% of the times, citizen developers were even part of this evaluation team, even part of the decision team, or even were the decision maker when they were buying these technologies. So it means if we do not take into account citizen developers, we are losing a huge space for our organization, right? The second graphic, the one that we have on the right side, it's the percentage of employees that we find in any organization with the specific skills. I found this completely amazing, right? They identified that in average, in an organization, 51% of people are just technology end users. So it's just the traditional user that enters into one system and completes some daily tasks. That's it, right? The 42% of them are business technologies. What are these? Citizen developers with some technical knowledge, right? 42% of the company. And if you saw, only 3% of the organization is actually business IT or people that has technical knowledge. So this is huge because, again, if we just identify, let's put this in numbers of an organization of 100 employees, we have only 3 guys or 3 people, 3 ladies in IT. That's it. You don't have more hands. But you have 42% all of your workforce as business technologists, citizen developers, that even though that maybe they are not the most technical skilled people in the organization, they have a lot of knowledge in the company, in the processes, in the data structure, and they can help you to go beyond the development of applications that maybe you are waiting. And now the feature that I am going to present right now, it is in these Studio Cloud services, we have now profiles. Profiles to allow you to support all the citizen developer revolution, to take out all those old ways, to give the right tools for the citizen developers. And in this moment and with this version, we have introduced two profiles in Studio Cloud Service. The first one, Studio Developer, and the second one, Studio Power User. So let's explore a little bit more about these two profiles. The first one is the Power User. So what is a Power User in this profile? It is the citizen developer power user. So our business expert, people that knows a lot the processes, the data structure, the way on how their teams work, right? But maybe don't have all the technical background. They are not expert in coding. They don't know what is Java or what is C or what is Python. They don't have any idea about that, but they know how the business works. And because of that, they can be involved in process automation. So for them, we are providing tools with no code and low code to automate processes. So it means we understand that not all the citizen developers are the same, not one size fits all, right? But also we are even go further, giving the tools that uniquely identify this power user, right? So what kind of things or what is going to be a power user for us? They are going to have from low code to no code skills, right? So knowledge, no, we're not expecting here an expert programmer over here. They have a specific view of Bizagi Studio Cloud Services with just the elements that they need. And what we're expecting from them is that they can focus completely on the automation process, but specifically on the steps that does not require too many technical knowledge. Like what? Creating the process diagrams, creating the forms, some basic rules, performers, anything that implies no advanced coding, they can be done, and they will not need IT at all, right? What kind of things they are going to see? So first, they don't need any technical knowledge. They can use existing complex expression built by expert developers, by the developer. It means here is where we are breaking that wall of the silos teams. Developer create a complex expression and the power user can use it, right? Developer create an integration, then the power user can include it in the project. So we are facilitating a lot the development of this point. Don't worry about the data structure. We know that creating the data model can require some technical knowledge. So forget about it. Just worry about some attributes that maybe you will need. And now we are creating this common space where they can work hand by hand by the developers. Now, what about the developer? So the developer is the traditional user that we have had all the time in our Bizagi Studio application, right? This is our expert user. And from there, what we're expecting is they are going to have, or they need high code skills, right? They are our IT. They are the people that know the coding. They are going to have access to the full Bizagi Studio, so they don't have any restrictions. And we are expecting that they help us just in the elements that they are required. Complex business rules, maybe integrations. Do we want to add a bot? We need a IT over there, right? And the main objective for us, of course, is that what we want with all of this is true collaboration. Power users will optimize the development of new solutions working hand by hand with the developers. Power users can do the hard lift of the process automation, and developers can just come here and help with the latest things that are the technical stuff, right? So now let's go and see how this looks like in the new Bizagi version, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do is that I want to show you really quickly the two views, right, that I am going to have now in Bizagi, right? So in this moment, what you are seeing is that on the left side, you are seeing a power user, citizen developer power user. So it's going to be, on the left side, you are seeing the developer, left side developer, and right side, you are seeing the citizen developer power user. How can we identify if this is citizen developer or a developer? Just take into account that in the ribbon, in the home ribbon, the developer has access to the expert view, while in the citizen developer, in the ribbon, the citizen developer doesn't have access to that expert view. That is the first difference, right? Second important thing for everyone to take into account, we are working now in cloud services. Take a look that here now, my Bizagi Studio is Studio Cloud Services, and it's identified directly in this point, saying that I am now in the cloud service. Now, second or third big difference that we have when we're working here. Our main objective, right, is that the citizen developer can perform all the tasks that does not require technical knowledge. Ask which one? They can create the process diagram. Yeah, for sure. There is nothing weird there. They can work in the data model. Maybe we don't want that the citizen developer enter into all the creation of the data structure, but we have identified that for citizen developers, maybe it's important to just modify the attributes that are in the process entity. So they can just add or modify some of the attributes that we have here. Creating the forms. Yeah, nothing different. Creating forms in Bizagi is mainly drag and drop most of the time, right? Creating business rules. Yes, with some restrictions that I'm going to show you later, right? Performers. Yes, also this activity must be performed by someone that is from the HR department or someone that is located in London. Pretty simple and easy configurations here. But now take a look what happened after the step number 5. We go directly to step number 6, that is the execute. And here it is the other big difference with the citizen developer and the developer. Citizen developer doesn't have 7 steps. Citizen developer just have 6. Which is the step that we take out? The one that belongs exclusively to the developer, that are the integrations, right? So here, what we are saying is we're not expecting that our citizen developer enters and start doing configuration of integrations. No, it's not what we need. Let our developer take care of that, create all the integrations needed, and then maybe I can use it as a citizen developer, but I don't want to go there, right? Citizen developer will always have the option to run the application exactly as the developer. Why? Because this is important for them to go and test their application, how their applications looks like, and the information that we have, okay? Now, let me show you in more detail, and let me just change my screen really quickly for you to see in detail what we have. So take a look that here, we got the work portal that was executed, right? Take a look that the URLs also changed because now we are working all the time in basically in our cloud environments. So let me show you in more detail some of the features and some of the things that can be done directly by the citizen developer, right? So let's see and let's explore a little bit more about this Bizagi Studio, right? That the citizen developers have. So as I was telling you, what can we do? Can we work in the process diagram? Yeah, for sure. Creating a process diagram doesn't have any or does not require any technical knowledge. So they have access to everything from the creation of the process diagram. See the process diagram, adding a new activity, a gateway, whatever is needed here, it's possible. They can do it. They have access directly to even create new processes and even to import processes from the exchange. So everything about the creation or the process diagram, they are able to do it. Regarding the data model, they can do it, right? Just what I showed you before. When they click here, they are not able to view the whole data model. The only thing that they are able to do is to see the process entity, and in case that they wanted to modify their attributes. Take a look how different this looks like if I open the same option, but now with the developer. When I have here my developer view and I click the data model, when I click on the data model option here, I am not going to see just the option of changing the process entity. I am seeing the full diagram with all the entities, with all the relationships, and I can modify it even if I want, right? Now, what about the step number 3? That is when we are creating our forms. This works quite easy, quite simple, so they can have access, they can open, and they can create or modify their forms. Of course, remember that the creation of the forms can be as simple or as complex as you require. If you maybe remember some of the records that we got over here, right? We have the options to say, hey, do we want to have one of the attributes visible or not visible? Or do we want to have it based on an expression? So they can create expressions, but they are going to have some restrictions, right? Now, what about actually the step number 4, where we create all our business rules? So they have access for everything about the Boolean expression. That is when we have gateways, because let's say all of them are quite easy to set up and quite easy to include over there. And when we're talking about the activity actions, we have restrictions there. We have provide for the citizen developer only the options that best fit for their knowledge. So again, we're not expecting them to have all the technical knowledge. So that's why we have decided to limit the options of one kind of things that they can add. So one of the options that we say over here is here. If I want to add a new expression over here, I am going to find just these options. I can add an expression, I can add a document template, I can set up an email, and I can add an Excel if the developer has done the configuration before. And even if we go into the creation of the expression, we are going to find also some restrictions. Maybe if you are used to see the creation of the expressions at this point, this is where we create all the expressions. And the way on how this works is that we make a right click over the arrow and we add any module that we want. But if you pay attention, we are not providing all the modules for the citizen developer, just the ones that are easy to set up, just the one that has wizards that does not require for them to do coding. So we don't have the expression box. No, we just have, do you want to do an if? Okay, an if is easy because you can set up all of these with wizards. Do you want to do an assignment? Great, you can also do this through wizards. No coding is needed, right? So this is also something that we want to provide. Do we want to just provide right tool for the citizen developer to do what they need to do and not to just go additional steps over there? Now, performers, as I told you, quite simple. We can just create a simple assignation rules, right? Where we can say this activity must be executed by someone that is in HR or someone that is located in New York or whatever. This is pretty simple. And everything about the integrations are not available for them, right? Now, what it will be or how can we actually do this double or two-way communication and two-way collaboration? So it can happen that at some point in one process, the citizen developer identify that one business rule or one integration is required and is a business rule that he cannot create, right? Or that is too advanced, or he need an integration. So here is where the communication, the two-way communication is going to start work. It is not just, hey, I need that you set up or that you automate the whole process. No, it is, I have done all of this on the process, and now what I need is this integration step, or I need this complex business rule. So developer, can you help me? And one of the great things is that the developer, even though that the developer has access to the expert view, right? The developer can switch seamlessly between expert view and wizard view as many times as they want, giving them a space that is common for the two of them. So the business, the power user, the citizen developer can say, developer, I need a new expression on the step number 4 in the activity review request. And this is something that they understand because they can go here, they say step number 5, okay, this one is the one that I have, activity review request, and then I just enter and create the expression there. So we have a common space for them to communicate. And what the developer can do for sure is he can do the hard, let's say, lifting in terms of coding. So he can go and say, okay, you need an integration. Don't worry. Go to my expert view. Let's set up an integration with one web service, with one, I don't know, let's add a new robot. Let's do one connector. Everything that is implied they can do. Even one of the things that we have identified is Excel connectors are quite common and quite easy to use by citizen developers. So the developer can set up the integration of that connector. So it means he can go, he can upload the file, he can create some of the elements about how the connector is going to look like or how the connector is going to work. And then the developer can add it and finish the configuration at any point that they want. So you say, hey, I want an Excel connector. I am going to select the one that my developer has just created. And then what I just need to finish is sending the information from my process to the connector, right? Now, what happens if we need an advanced expression, right? So what happens if at some point the developer now must take place and must create expression? So when the developer goes and create their expert expression, so we go here, we say that we want to create a new advanced expression at this point, take a look that they have access to everything that we are used to, all the modules, all the boxes, everything that you need, and even they can go and create expressions that implies coding. So the communication in both ways is everything that the developer is doing here is automatically reflected in the citizen developer project. And even though that the citizen developer cannot change or cannot modify these coding expressions, take a look what it happens. When the citizen developer enter to their project and review that expression that implied coding, he can go and review what happens there. He can see the name of the expression, he can review what it's inside, and he can even see the coding. But take a look that on the top, they are going to see a huge message saying you are not able to modify the content of this expression. So you can see it, but you cannot modify it because you don't have the expertise and you don't have the knowledge to change coding. So leave this to the experts. So this is the way on how the two ways communication and two-way collaboration have, and this is how Bizagi Studio for the citizen developer looks like and Bizagi Studio for developers looks like. Where can we set up this configuration? Where can we say, okay, I want Kevin to be a citizen developer, or I want someone to be specifically a power user? How can we do it? So we can do it directly from the Bizagi customer portal. If you are not used to the Bizagi customer portal, basically this is the place where now we are going to go directly and customize or actually add everything about or everything in terms, right, of the configuration of our cloud platform. Everything that we need, it will be included there. And specifically, what we are going to just see in that particular point, it is when we are in the customer portal. Let me change here my view. We are going to have the opportunity to review and to manage our users with these options. So what do you want each user to be? Do you want them to be the developer? Do you want them to be the power user? And you can change them one by one. So I want this user to be my developer. I want this user to be my specific citizen developer. Okay? Now, in case that you want to learn more from all of this, I want to invite all of you to a new training course that our training team has developed exclusive for this feature. And it is completely free, is ready, and is this training course called Creating Process Application by Process Users. Here, you will have the opportunity to go in deep into more details about this citizen developer and power users Bizagi Studio View, how they can work, what kind of features they can have, what is the communication that must be in place between the developer and the citizen developer every single day, right? So the training course is already available in our elearning.bizagi.com. It's completely free full in English, you can just go and start reviewing in case that you are interested, right?